Saquon Barkley and the Eagles ink a $41.2 million contract extension, making him the highest paid running back in the National Football League. And look, this is great for the RB. This is great for the perception of the RB. This is great for the odds of Hampton, or let's call it any other running back that you might like, Judkins or any of the other rookie running backs, to climb into round one alongside of Ashton Genty. We might have two RBs in round one at the end or in the mid-20s, and then Ashton Genty in the top 15. The running back is a cycle. I've told everybody this for years. The running back's dead, Smitty. The running back died. Teams don't like running back, Smitty. It's all a cycle, always will be. Players in positions will come and go. Barkley getting paid is great for the RB. And the RB's back, baby. We've got Davante Adams released. He will be, well, let's look at the board. The free agent board has Davante Adams and Godwin as the top two non-quarterback free agents in the 2025 free agent pool. We'll talk about where Adams could go. New England's going to come a knocking. New England wants a wide receiver bad. Reports are New England is very desperate. They called up A.J. Brown and company. They called up the Eagles and said, is A.J. Brown available? They hung up the phone, reportedly. So, very possible. We're going to talk about all that. Adams, Barkley, is Aiyuk available again? Are we hearing that rumor again? Cam Ward, the Giants want to trade up to one because they don't just want the one pick. They want Cam Ward. And we want Cam Ward for our boy Malik Neighbors, because if Malik Neighbors gets Cam Ward and Cam Ward gets Malik Neighbors, and these two gentlemen cross streams on a weekly basis over in New York,
to Jupiter.
The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. Live whenever it's 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. Live most graveyard shifts. So tonight we're going to be live at midnight. We're live after dark. Pretty much every night. Depends on the type of the time of the season. Overcome with the 32-month membership flex. Appreciate you dropping that. Let me fix my alerts immediately, so if anybody drops super chats or gifted memberships, those suckers will pop on screen. Let's get right to the news, and then we'll open up phone lines immediately. But Saquon Barkley inking a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid running back in NFL history. Actually, per sources, the deal makes Barkley NFL's first $20 million per season per year running back. Barkley also had the ability to earn, etc. There's more incentives and such in the deal, but this is awesome for the RB. This is very, very well deserved for Barkley. And the Eagles are playing 3D masterclass chess with everybody. 5-dimensional chess with everybody. They did the entire offseason. That's why we had the Eagles win the NFC on the board up above in like March, because they were playing chess with everybody. 5-dimensional chess. Everybody was playing checkers. They weren't even playing 2D checkers. They were playing 1D checkers. They signed A.J. Brown. They signed Devontae Smith. They brought in the right defense and offensive coordinators that helped them become monsters. And what do? They lose their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, goes over to New Orleans. I don't like the situation for him. What do? Instead of just sitting on their hands and going, well, we hope it works out. We hope losing our offensive coordinator is going to be good. What do? They get aggressive and they say, what is the best part about our offense? Saquon Barkley. Let's ink him. Let's make him happy. Let's motivate him. Let's get him. Let's go back to the drawing board. This is just more Eagle winning. Just Eagle winning constantly in the offseason. Just masterclass. How do you run an organization in the offseason? Howie, how do you do it? Howie, one of the top 2 GMs in the league. The other one is over in Washington doing marvelous things as well. Debo Samuel. You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Debo might be a moon man before the show or weekend ends. I'm sick and tired of people acting like Debo is completely washed. I think Debo was not motivated. I think Debo was overweight. He certainly was at the Super Bowl. some say carrying 25 extra pounds, not just 20 pounds. We got a gifted membership question. A team most likely to take Aiyuk's contract. What team? We'll go over that in a second. It's a great question, Alex. But I would say, Debo was not going to do well in San Francisco. I will agree with anybody that says Debo was washed in a San Francisco uniform. He was checked out. His mentals weren't there. He wasn't motivated. The fan base kind of remnants of hatred from the holdout. That fan base, that Niner fan base, if you're watching right now and you're a Niner fan, don't argue with me on this. You know this is 100% true. You might not like all my Shanahan takes, but you know this is true. The Niner fan base is harder on the players, especially when they leave, than any fan base in the league. When Mostert left, he got threats from people constantly, left and right. Mostert was he even talked about it. It was awful for him and his family. This is a tough fan base. They do not, once you leave, they do not like you. Remember all the reverence Jimmy Garoppolo got? Once Garoppolo left, they hated the guy. Some people would say, oh, remember when he changed the culture? There are people who were like, get out of here, he's trash. Now it's not like, hey, Debo, whatever. There were a couple thank you posts, sure. Especially on his thank you post to the team. There were a lot of kind comments in there. But outside of that, people are trashing him. He's cooked, he's toast, he's trash. Because people can't handle a player leaving. So they make fun of him. They want to burn his jersey. They want to do all these things. Good for Debo. Debo's in a place where his arms are wide open. People want this man on the roster in Washington. JD5's going to feed the man. Debo Samuel's the best yak yardage player in the National Football League. Do I know if that still exists today? I don't. But I do know that if anybody believes it is, and I believe them to be correct in that belief, it's me believing in Adam Peters. If I believe in Peters, believing in Smitty, believing in JD5, believing in Adam Peters, we cross streams. That's how we do it on this channel. I believe in you, Peters. I believe in Peters. As should you. Red upgraded his membership to priority comments. That's what I'm talking about, Red. That's what I'm talking about, Red. Red to the moon.
To the moon.
So I think at the end of the day, well, I don't know what we're talking about here. Eagles. We're talking about where did I get sidetracked? Washington. GMs, top two GMs in the league. We got Howie Roseman. We got Adam Peters over in Washington. Top two GMs in the National Football League. Okay, so there we go. Here are the franchise tag E's. There's only two of them. Only two players. This is, I believe, the first time in history, right? We've got T. Higgins, $26.2 million, Cincinnati Bengals. We got Trey Smith, $23.4 million, Kansas City Chiefs, and Sam Darnold was not tagged. Now, the important part about Sam Darnold not being tagged, if we're being, completely honest, and I say that because we kind of want him back in Minnesota. Things were good, Things were good with Sam in Minnesota. I kind of want him elsewhere, too, because if things could be good with J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota, similar to Sam, then we could get Sam into another place that needs a quarterback and get some production there. So I'm kind of torn, to be honest. But if we're being honest about Minnesota's desire to bring Sam back, which we've kind of gone back and forth on this channel, whether we believe and predict that the Vikings will sign him to a deal. If they're not willing to franchise tag him at that amount, and they think that $40+ million amount is too much, then I don't know that they're going to offer him enough for him to stay then. You know what I'm saying? Like, that franchise tag amount should be not enough. That should be, like, in his mind, that's what I plan on making more than that annually. So why would I want to play for you on that? But the fact that the Vikings didn't even see him worth 1 year that amount makes me think that he's going to find that money elsewhere. So he's really going to have to want to take a hometown discount, which he might, because this is the situation that rebirthed his career. It was a rejuvenation year for Sam Darnold, and he might have some fear about going out. I'm not saying he's not confident or anything like that, but he did unravel at the end. He's had a lot of unraveling in his life, and there's probably a little bit of a confidence issue for him, a little bit of a scared feeling in the back of his mind, like if I go somewhere else and I fail, I'm done. but I know I can succeed here, and so my career could be better. I could find that next contract if I work on myself and I get a chance to play a couple years. But if he has half a bad season, he's gone. He's done. Whatever team he goes to, if he craps it out half a year straight, he's done. He'll never get another job again. So he's probably kind of thinking, that as he goes. With arms wide open, says Justin Rush, under the Eagles spotlight. Okay, appreciate you, Justin, for dropping the super chat. JD5 to the moon, you bet your bottom dollar. No, not to the moon, not to Mars, not to Saturn, but to
Jupiter.
JD5 going to freaking Jupiter. He ain't going to the moon. He ain't going nowhere but Jupiter. Thank you, Goose. Appreciate you. Okay, so what else we got? Barkley. This is great for Barkley. Look, and where do you draft Barkley? It better be in the top 4. But you're not wrong to like Bijan. You're not wrong to like Gibbs more than Barkley this year. So Bijan, Gibbs, Barkley, those are the 3. You're not wrong to like Jamar Chase ahead of all of them. You're not crazy wrong to like JJ number 2 or 3 if your league is full PPR. Those are the big dogs. You're going Barkley, Chase, or Chase Barkley, or Chase Bijan Gibbs Barkley. There's no disrespect putting Barkley 4 or putting Barkley 1. There's no disrespect putting Gibbs 4 or 1 or Bijan 4 or Bijan 1. This is the 1 year where, in my opinion, there's a lot of Stevenness going on at the top 4. You have a 4 pick, almost better in some ways, and I hate to let people decide for me, but if you get the 4 pick and you're like, I wanted the 1 pick, it is nice because there's such good monster capability at 4. Even if you have the option of JJ in one of those RBs, so it's in your control, to have that second round pick tightened up and brought up a little bit in the second round. Then again, if I have to choose, I'm always taking 1, then I'm always taking 2, then I'm always taking 3, then I'm always taking 4, 5, and probably down to 6 overall. 7 and 12, that's where it starts flopping for me a little bit. But it's 1 is the best because that third round pick is right up there at 3.1. Nice and tight at the top of round 3, and that's the way we like it.
Let him cook.
That's the way we like it. That's the way Dad did it. It's the way America does it. It's worked out pretty good so far. Saquon Barkley to the mother freaking moon or Mars. To Saturn, Jupiter. You name it. Judy with the super chat says, hey, Smitty, Dynasty Superflex, trade DK and Benson for the 1.2. DK and Benson for the 1.2. Woo! Woo! Can I get a vote on this one? Braylon Allen, I have Hall, Smash. Would you even... I'm going to say probably do like it. But this is one of those ones where, I like this wide receiver group, but if we put Ted McMillan or Travis Hunter in last year's class, they're not even in the top 34. So it's like if you do have Genty go 1 in this super flex. Now, if you need a quarterback, I don't know. I think I would consider it for Cam Ward, I suppose, if you were just had no quarterback situation. But yeah, I Hampton and I'm probably thinking it's going to be Hampton or Henderson or Judkins or one of the RBs with Genty that I like at that 2 pick. If you need a quarterback bad enough, Cam Ward's pretty decent, and giving up DK and Benson for Cam Ward and a super flex is pretty solid. I would say go ahead and make this trade because of the flexibility it gives you. But yeah, what does everybody else think? I would probably take that. I'd smash that. Appreciate you dropping the super chat. Keep them coming, guys. I'll answer them in order in which to receive, just like I am right now. The Jets will save $29.9 million in salary cap space because of the release of Davante Adams, who I mentioned a minute ago, is now up there with Godwin as being one of 2 of the best free agent non-quarterbacks in the 2025 free agent pool. It's Adams, it's Godwin. This does not help Godwin's case. Godwin just got a nice bump in value with the Debo Samuel trade and just like everybody getting excited about, the value. What's it look like? How's this guy gonna how's this guy going to be sought after? Like everything is pumping up the Godwin value, you know. The T. Higgins franchise tag took T. Higgins off this board, vaulted up Godwin's value. So Godwin was living on cloud 9 a minute ago. Now Adams and Godwin are going to share the spotlight a little bit, but I don't know that it'll hurt either one. I think if anything, it just makes them both look pretty damn good together, standing there on a pedestal, locking arms and saying, "Come get us." You know, New England, come overpay, give me my money. You know, Las Vegas, maybe Las Vegas says, well, I don't know if we can talk Adams into coming back, but maybe we go get Godwin. Maybe we get aggressive. You know, there's a lot of locations that fit both those guys pretty well. I think a team that wants to win now is better suited for Adams. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be good for the progression and development of Drake May, but they're probably going to be more inclined to go get Godwin so they can build something special in 2-3 years' time, maybe feel like in their mind they could have a contending type of team. And nobody should be GMing if they don't think they can turn a team around in 2 to 3 years. So Godwin's young enough to make that work. Adams isn't. So not saying I wouldn't go after Adams to have something for Drake May to develop and hone his skills. You know, having an amazing wide receiver, mold and sculpt the wide receiver room that's there. But there are better fits for Davante Adams. My favorite fit for Davante Adams from a team perspective is the Baltimore Ravens, even though I don't think that's good from a fantasy perspective. The Houston Texans, the Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills are probably the best combo of upside fantasy-wise and upside NFL-wise. Like Baltimore, it's huge to get them from a football perspective. Buffalo, huge from a football perspective, but it's better fantasy-wise in Buffalo. So Buffalo, overall, sum total becomes the best spot. Dallas over here is going to be in the mix, I think, certainly. I believe that, you know, a team like the Niners will get involved in the Davante Adams sweepstakes. I don't know about the Godwin sweepstakes, but especially if they're going to potentially try and trade Brandon Aiyuk, which we'll talk about in a minute. Is trading Brandon Aiyuk even feasible? So Adams to... Let's call Adams to, damn it, if we got to pick 2 spots, or 3 spots. I'm going to say Buffalo, Baltimore, and we'll call it San Francisco. They seem like they need to do something crazy, San Francisco, really. I feel like they could. I think, you know, there's more of a hot seat situation going on there with Shanahan than people want to admit over in that side of the pond. This is on the topic of the 49ers, according to Schefter. This coming from our boy Raj, RSF 49ers. Follow my boy on Instagram. Adam Schefter on 49ers, Brandon Aiyuk, with the financial situation in San Francisco, they're open to listening to just about anybody. If there's a team out there that's willing to take on Brandon Aiyuk's contract, I'm sure they would listen. This was said on the Pat McAfee show by Adam Schefter, speaking about an Aiyuk trade. Now, the thing about the Aiyuk trade is there is a big contract to lay off. Now, for everybody that's a Niner fan trying to defend the Debo Samuel situation, like, oh, the Niners save so much money getting rid of Debo. They don't. They save future money. Yeah, but if you like Debo, you're willing to spend that future money, but you're not saving money. You're still taking a $31 million dead cap hit. Yeah, you don't ever explain that, Niner page. Niner pages everywhere to start talking about, oh, the Niners save so much money this year. They don't save money this year. The Niners take a bath on the Debo Samuel trade, just like they would take a dead cap hit on a Brandon Aiyuk trade. But if they don't want him anymore, they want to get rid of him. They want some future cash flow available because they don't believe in this guy anymore. Why would you? He not only checked out mentally before he got injured, he's now injured. And he's going to be pushing to get back in time for team activities, and he'll be limited, just like McCaffrey will be limited through all of team activities. There's a report the other day that said, great news, McCaffrey's going to be able to participate in some team activities. Some? How is that a positive report? Everyone kept saying that's good news. We didn't have any. How is that good news? How is it good news that McCaffrey's going to be limited during team activities? How is it good news that McCaffrey might be sitting out a bunch of the offseason? Like, that's not good news. Brandon Aiyuk being barely ready when he wasn't mentally ready. And what team is going to take his contract on? A desperate team. Maybe New England does. And if they do, I'm going to question that organization if they go after that money from this guy who has his head in the wrong place right now. He did before he got injured. And right now, I don't sense that it's any better. I sense he's probably in a more vulnerable state because, A, he's getting paid all this money and has nothing to show for it. So he might posture, puff his chest, and act like he's, the best gift to the fantasy football world or to the wide receiver world. But he knows down deep he hasn't earned anything. And the fact that he was playing like dog crap before he got injured makes it a really, really long road back. Hard to know what's going to happen with this situation. Hard to know if the Niners are willing to eat a whole bunch more money. Why did they pay him? I don't know, Jacob. I have no clue. They way overpaid. They way overpaid. Now, granted, I'll be honest, a lot of us were excited about him getting his money, but as it drug out, what did I tell you? He's going to get hurt. And you could say, Smitty, you can't predict a knee injury. Regardless, he got hurt. He was done for the season. And I told you he would be, no matter how it happened. And you could act like the knee injury was totally, a random sequence, and it could be, but it could also be that he's just not in the right place at the right time. He's not strong enough to withstand, getting hit, and he's not as quick on his feet. There's a lot of ways that you could still tear your ACL because you're not mentally prepared. You're not running your routes properly. You're not even in the game. Your headspace is completely messed up. As we started getting closer and closer, especially after Adam Peters decided he wanted nothing to do with him, we started to back off, and he's gonna have a bad year. I always tell you, the longer you hold out, the more likely you are to not only have a bad year, meaning we predicted this. We predicted the Brandon Aiyuk situation every step of the way. Every single step of the way to a T. The only thing I got wrong on Brandon Aiyuk is I called that he would request a trade a little earlier than he did. But we called this to a T the entire way. The injury, the playing badly, all of it to a T. The Shanahan mishandling, the John Lynch mishandling like they always do. And who knows if they do it again with Brock Purdy. This is why Shanahan is in a bad place, kind of a hot seat, whether people want to admit it or not. Who wants this? I don't. Who wants to take on this contract and this mind game puzzle? Not me. Is there a team? Probably. Who are they? It could be New England. Could be another team. Could be a team like the Raiders who year after year seem to not know how to fill their quarterback spot. So we're going to go ahead and throw that over there. But I don't, it would not shock me if a team did take on that awful contract from what appeared to be an awful player. Dak Prescott, hamstring, declined to put a timeline on his return, but said he will be ready for the first game of the regular season. Not what we wanted to hear, to be honest. We wanted to hear that he was 100%, but I am confident that he'll be good to go. And I'm confident that, this will look better in a couple months from now. I think he's just not wanting to I don't think he's saying, hey, I'm not going to be ready through all of August or something. It's just him saying, take it easy on trying to request this and that. At the front door. Because we're not looking. There's somebody at the door. Yeah, I'm not coming to the door, son. I'm in the middle of selling Girl Scout cookies at the front door. Not right now, pal. Not while we're on the show. Okay, so Dak Prescott declined to put a timeline on it. I think, it's something that we're going to monitor. We're going to monitor and see how this goes before we start, hitting panic alarms. And honestly, even if they said, he'll start throwing, or he's throwing, but he'll start moving around a lot more, and he'll start, doing things full speed in, July. I'm still fine with that time frame. I just think that we're in March 4 territory. So, that's fine. That's fine. If we're in July and we were hearing bad things, we'll react in time. Cam Ward, Giants are likely to trade for the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. This is coming from multiple reports at this point. This is not just ESPN. writing this, but Jordan from ESPN is writing this right now. A different reporter, different person from yesterday's report talking about the Giants wanting to get aggressive and move up to the number 1 overall pick. This is probably going to happen. I told you about 4, 5, 6 days ago, maybe. I forget the time. Time flies for me, so I don't even know what day of the week it is practically. But this is what I said. I'm getting a strong gut feeling that the Giants are going to get ultra aggressive, overpay if they need to go get their quarterback because they can't keep doing what they're doing. Cam Ward to Neighbors sends Neighbors to
Jupiter.
Cam Ward with Neighbors sends Cam Ward to
Saturn.
I mean, it really does. I think Cam Ward, and this goes back to that earlier super chat about the Superflex question that, you know, who was it that sent that question? I think that was Judy. If you get Cam Ward in a giant uniform tossing pigskins to Malik Neighbors, this is fantastic. This is great for Cam Ward. Cam Ward's value goes up tremendously. Not only that, Judy, you also have Cam Ward getting Brian Daboll, who's the quarterback whisperer. So if there's ever concerns about him getting to the fullest potential that he can get to and quickly, Daboll is the answer to that. Daboll plus Neighbors. I don't care about Joe Scheinbox. He can only medal so much. That combo puts Cam Ward on a whole new map. We got a $20 hauler from Russian Collusion.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Ziggy, show me the backyard. Ziggy, volume 0. God, we got so much commotion over here. I got people outside my house. I got solicitors going. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Calm down. Why they always come right at the top of the show? Collusion Super Chat says as follows. I have been very busy. I did win the hometown championship. Need to thank you and the show. Hope to be on more this year. Killed myself in the Mars Man, and I will be back. Appreciate you, Russian Collusion, for dropping the Super Chat. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Appreciate you, kind sir. You are the man. Appreciate you. Thank you for the $20 hauler. What else we got? We got Najee Harris. We got this news by NBC Sports. Reports are that Najee will likely earn $8 to $10 million on the open market. That is very, very, very likely a number for Najee Harris to earn on the open market. Where could he go? He could go back to Pittsburgh, certainly. He could probably find his way in like a Raider uniform. I could see that happening. Cleveland makes some sense. I can see Cleveland going after Najee, but $8 to $10 million does seem very, very likely for Najee. And I think that given he's probably one of the best running backs on the free agent board, they're all pretty close. J.K. Dowdle, Najee, none of them are knocking my socks off here. But I do think that Najee could easily earn that. But then again, you think about it, like these teams that are running back needy, are they really going to be the teams that don't go after some of these cheap young rookies? It very well could be the case. We could definitely see Cleveland fill their running back void through the draft. There's just so many good running backs. So we might find that his likely landing spot is back home in Pittsburgh on a discount because he has no market value. We could see J.K. Dobbins back in L.A. because there's no market value for a guy that's torn his Achilles tendon and ACL and all that. Dowdle, as good as he was, his return back to Dallas is likely if Dallas doesn't go after an RB. And there was a report, and I don't know that I believe it, but there's a lot of people speculating that the Cowboys are not interested in Genty at 12. It's a bunch of smoke. I would not buy into it. There was a reporter that talked about how Genty wasn't scheduled to meet with the Dallas Cowboys, and they're taking that as in that the Cowboys aren't interested. And keep in mind, sometimes you don't meet with the player because you don't want to alert anybody you're going to draft him. There are plenty of times in the National Football League, even at the top of the first round, where a team doesn't meet with the player and they do it in some sort of covert, way and covert reason. So take it with a grain of salt until you hear Jerry say it. which he still could be blowing smoke up people's rear end. But until you hear Jerry say it, I don't think he'd lie about that. Don't listen to somebody that tries to connect dots between, visits and different things. It's still very, very early. And some of these guys have their pro days, and let's stop with the nonsense about, we know that the Dallas Cowboys are not going to draft Ashton Jeanty. So that's why I haven't even reported on that yet, but I might go live on it if it starts spreading around and if another source picks it up. But for right now, that's how I feel about Jeanty. Chase Brown, this is not what we want to hear, and this is kind of why I've been saying, you guys know how much I love Chase Brown, but I've been saying this a handful of times this offseason already, that I have a little bit of a desire to push Chase Brown into round 4 as my 4th drafted player, or I just like other players better in the 3rd round, and it's not because I don't love the kid. It's just the waiting on what the team does at the RB position. They wanted to dial him back. They didn't, but they wanted to dial him back. And we've heard teams say that before. We hear Jacksonville every year say we're going to give ETN less work. Although Liam Cohen's there now, so you can't even use any of that for ETN and Bigsby. It's a whole new ballgame. But my point is, you hear coaches say it and then they never do it. Like Chase Brown, we want to dial him back. We're using him too much. Then they kept playing him. But this report here is what's been making me push Brown a little bit away from Bucky, a little bit away ADP-wise for me from Breece Hall and Kyren. Like, this is a 4th rounder, but a home run 4th round pick potentially. Not a 3rd rounder, win a league 3rd rounder like Kyren, Hall, and Bucky. And it's this kind of crap that just, it pisses you off. It makes you, question, certain things. It makes you question life. His Bengals offensive coordinator, Dan Pitcher, said the team may look, and this is his opinion though. Okay, so keep that, but this is a fear I have, and I kind of feel it because they verbalized this. And that's pretty much what he's doing. He's making up something off of, what he's heard too, but it's logical. It's why I fear it. The team may look at a bigger back with a little more power this offseason. And so if they drafted a Scatterboo, or if they drafted a player with bigger, size for the between the tackle work, it doesn't make him not valuable. And in any case, if they draft somebody not named Scatterboo, not named Hampton, not named Judkins, not named Jeanty, we're talking about getting out of the Henderson territory, and you go right behind there, like even a Damian Martinez, who I like a lot as a sleeper. This will drive Brown's value down a little, and then I'll be in. I'll be back in. I'll swoop in and say, love Chase Brown back in Steeler territory, or Steel territory. So Chase Brown to the mother freaking moon if he's at the right price.
To the moon.
Chase Brown. Just tread carefully if you start reaching on him in round 3. That's all I'm saying. Sam Darnold. There have been talks about a potential short-term contract to keep him in Minnesota. Keep in mind, this is what I was talking about, though, that the short-term contract idea, the fact that they didn't feel like you can't get any more short-term than the franchise tag. The fact that this team didn't like the franchise tag amount, they didn't like paying him the franchise tag amount, means they're not going to pay him that annually on a longer-term deal or even a 2 or 3 year deal. So you just got to ask yourself, are teams willing to pay him the franchise tag amount, dollar amount? And if so, on a multi-year deal, he's not going back to Minnesota. Not unless, what is going on with my cameras and everybody in my front door? Ziggy, show me the front door. Ziggy off. This is ridiculous. I'm doing a show. I can't buy Girl Scout cookies. This is the second kid sitting at my door. Okay, Darnold may be in talks on a potential short-term deal. Don't expect that to come true. All right, phone lines are going to be open in a second. CeeDee Lamb has agreed to restructure his contract with the Cowboys, creating $20 million in cap space. I want to win. Going to take more than just myself to get this done, is what he's saying. He was injured last year. He doesn't want to have a shortened career by injuries. Lamb is selfless leader who wants to contend. This is awesome. This is great news. The Cowboys have said they might get selectively aggressive. Maybe they go get a Davante Adams. Maybe this is in the cards for Jerry Jones right now. Imagine Davante Adams and Genti added to this offense and all the people that would complain about it. That would be unbelievable, to be honest.
Let him cook.
So you got that news. CeeDee Lamb is a force, baby. He's a force, and he's one of the best values in fantasy football 2025. He truly is. He's going at like 7, 8, 9. That's great value. 7, 8, 9, fantastic value for CeeDee Lamb. Win a league potential at 7, 8, 9. We've got Najee Harris. Already talked about that. Shedeur Sanders is the last piece of news, and then we'll open the phone lines. We got right around 200 of you in here from YouTube. We got another, 50, 60, 70 from Twitter, from X. I don't stream to X every time. We're doing that a little bit more in the off season than the in season. So make sure you're subscribed up on the channel. Like the video on the way in the door. We really only have 39 thumbs up, about 200 YouTubers in here, and we only have 39 thumbs up. Can we pump those rookie numbers up just a little bit? 39 thumbs up. Your boy needs you. Okay, I need you to come in, hit that thumb up button every day. It helps the channel. If you love the channel, if I give you anything, if you get any sort of satisfaction from this channel, you hitting that thumb up button helps me more than you know. So I ask you to hit that when you come in. It would be very helpful moving forward. You guys rock. The Athletic is reporting that the Saints could take Shedeur Sanders with that number 9 overall pick. This is interesting because, Sanders is a guy that a lot of teams have come away with a bad taste left in their mouth after the Sanders meeting, during the combine, saying that he comes off as kind of an arrogant, brash kid that has a little bit too much confidence, and they don't mean that like in a bad way. It's more so the kind of, or I don't mean that in a good way. It's not the kind of confidence that you want in a player. And I think here's the draft order. Here we go. So this report suggesting that the Saints could take him. The Saints are drafting at freaking 9. If Shedeur lasts to 9 because of the interviews, this will be crazy. Number one, it'll be crazy unless the Las Vegas Raiders already have Fields or Darnold. It will be insane if the Raiders pass on Shedeur at 6. I get that there's a little bit of like a turnoff for this kid. He comes from Deion Sanders' blood. Like, Deion Sanders is an arrogant guy. And everything that Shedeur kind of, I think, shoves into the forefront is a mask. So if you're a smart coach, you understand that this is just almost a facade, because you grew up in the shadow of one of the most arrogant and talented players that's ever played the game at his position in the National Football League. And you're the quarterback who's throwing footballs against what his father did for a living. So growing up, it had to be brutal trying to throw against, Deion. And so everything that this kid's carrying is fixable. And if you're a good coach, you know that this is why he's wearing this mask. He has to wear this mask. He has to figure out how to look confident, because he's in a shadow that's so big you won't see him if he doesn't get bold and get big and abrasive. So I'm not worried about these reports that he's arrogant or looks like he's too cocky. It's all show. Down deep, I think he's a good kid. And down deep, there's nothing in this kid that screams, oh, he's going to be a problem child, or he's the next Josh Rosen. He honestly, better attitude and less arrogance than Caleb Williams coming out of college. How do we not hear teams were turned off by Caleb Williams' demeanor? It doesn't come off as a more brash kid than the way Caleb came off. I want to own the team that drafts me. I need to own a percentage of the team that drafts me. I want to win 8 Super Bowls. Like, how did that not come off as ridiculous conversation? What he says when he says, I have faith in myself. I think I can be the next Tom, Brady if I get there, but I'm nowhere close now. I mean, he said similar things about Tom Brady. A lot of people do. But you didn't hear Caleb say, oh, well, I've got to earn it. He's like, I want 8 rings. I'm coming after it. He said, I want to be like Tom Brady, and I've got so much to learn. I'm not there, but if you ask me, how do I try and play? I try and play like Tom Brady because Tom Brady can beat you mentally, and that's what I want. He's talking about things he wants. Caleb's talking about things he already had, like ownership of the team that drafted him. So there you go. NFL draft order right here. Phone lines are open. Dial in, dial in, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Phone lines are open. Dial in. I'll keep scanning the news as there's constantly new stuff that emerges. But right now, anyway, I think we've covered all of the major stuff out there in the news world. Phone lines are open for your asking question pleasure. Travis Hunter reports that the Browns will host the DB/wide receiver, as well as Carter, as well as Cam Ward, as well as Shedeur Sanders for their top 30 visits. No surprise there for the Cleveland Browns. Conversations between the Dolphins and Bradley Chubb about a pay cut. Najee Harris already reported his $8 to $10 million expectation. I think we're caught up on pretty much everything. Go ahead, Gump, you're live. I swear, Gump, if you start talking Hendon Hooker, I'm going to hang up the phone.
That ain't fair.
What do you got? This better be good. Hendon Hooker what?
It is good. It is good. It's good. It is good.
Hurry.
Are you ready?
Hurry.
Well, this is what I'm hearing. This is on the beat of the press.
Hurry!
All the ideas. They're saying there's no way that Hendon Hooker is not traded this year because of all the 10 needy teams.
Who is they?
Needed quarterback. There's 10. What they're saying, let me tell you.
Who's they? Who's they? Who's they?
Just a bunch of people. But
trust me, bro.
They're saying that there's 10 needy teams out here.
They are
10 needy teams.
They're saying that,
for quarterback. Yes. And if Hendon Hooker was in the draft right now, that he'd be the number 1 quarterback.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Gump. All right, Gump. Anything else, Gump? Anything else?
Yeah. So I heard what you said, that if Kyle Murray's not going to bring the Cardinals to the Super Bowl, now that I got land in Arizona, I got to be kind of a Cardinal fan, right?
Okay.
I kind of agree. So I'm thinking that Hendon Hooker could probably bring the Cardinals to the Super Bowl.
Finish him.
Better than Kyle Murray.
Call terminate.
There's just only so much Hendon Hooker talk we can actually do for real. It's funny, Gump, but you call in with Hendon Hooker news every day, it gets really boring. So if you want to call back in again, Gump, and talk something else, let me know. But that's just enough is enough. Theo, you're live, and then I'll go over to the Bruce. Go ahead, Theo.
Would you trade the 105 in a Superflex league for a Kyron?
The 105 in a Superflex for Kyron. I would. Hell yeah.
All right, bet. Thank you.
I mean, I know a lot of people are going to kind of be, I think, on the fence on that. Just because, I mean, we need to know, what's your quarterback situation look like? I mean, briefly, what's your QB situation?
Stroud, Kyler, Baker, and Richardson.
Stroud, Kyler, Baker, Richardson. Okay. Yeah, bro, I'm taking Kyron, but I don't know. It depends, man. So many people are very much about rebuilding. If you can't win now, it makes it harder to hold.
I can win now.
Yeah, then you got to roll with Kyron. That's me. I go after Corum and make sure you get that combo the best to your ability. But It's hard to get Corum in dynasty leagues because people just they like the idea of having that piece that divides you at night and keeps you up at night. So it's hard to make those trades.
So would you trade the 303 and the 311 for Corum?
Of course. Yeah, if you've got Kyron,
Yeah?
absolutely. Yeah, who cares about third rounders when you're talking about, locking down your running back one, bro? Like if Kyron's in there, he's a top 5 running back. If Corum's in there, he's a top.
I got Gibbs too.
He's a top 8 to 10 running back. Yeah.
And Neighbors.
Yeah, easy, bro. But be careful because if you just go, hey, Steve, you want my third rounders for Corum? He's going to go, no. And he's going to look you in the eye, and the virtual eye, and say, no. I'm going to hold him over your head, bro. So you got to be creative. You almost have to, offer him a third rounder for something you can't get. Like, let's say he's got a receiver like McMillan or something. It's something that if he said yes, you'd be like, sweet, okay, never mind. So, and then he says no, and you just dance around it. You're like, well, what do you have that I could throw a third rounder or two at you? And then go that route. Go slow and subtle. But because if you go straight for Corum, he's not going to trade him to you. All right, bro.
All right, thank you.
All right,
See you later.
Bruce, you're live, my boy.
Hey, Smitty, did you see Jefferson on the Pat McAfee show where he said, I don't care who my quarterback is?
Yeah, that's just him. It could be him, kind of like just
he
making.
Said, I went through this with Cousins.
Yeah, he does care, but this is his way of saying, like, I don't want to pick sides right now because I'm going to be left with the aftermath of that if I say the wrong name. I think he's just saying he loves JJM, he loves Sam Darnold, he loves anybody, whatever. Bring it all. But at the end of the day, of course he cares, I find it funny that the team is not as behind Darnold after kind of one unraveling. I mean, he unraveled, but then he rebounded. And then they carried him in the locker room and everything. So, guys have bad games. So I think the fear is that we've seen him rise up and we all question whether he was a paper tiger or not. And then he faltered and we're like, oh, God. But it's weird to me that the team isn't a little bit more behind him. Like, hey, bring him back. We're going to win, coach. I don't care what it is. Franchise tag him. Work out a long-term deal. I know they like JJM, but JJM is a long ways away from proving that this team can be a playoff contender with him. He's a great player to have in the wings and develop and all of that. But I think it was a grave mistake not to franchise tag Sam Darnold. I think the Vikings made a very bad move. I think this was the move to make. He was, if they do work out a short-term deal like the report suggests that the team could, like how much you were going to really save. And who cares about the cap this year, really? You got a good enough team. Let Aaron Jones go. Don't go give Aaron Jones $7 or $8 million or whatever they end up giving. Go get a rookie running back. Like, what are we talking about here? You can't take the Aaron Jones money. Go get a rookie running back. Go get Dylan Sampson. Go get Scatterbo. Go get somebody that has a long-term future in Minnesota, too. I love that idea greatly. And then use that money that you're going to give Aaron Jones and throw it on Sam Darnold's franchise tag, on the thought process there. Like, what are we doing? It's a big mistake. Because at the end of the day, even if you like JJM, you're still far better off having Sam Darnold and JJM than you are having just JJM. Because he's coming back from injury. You don't know what he is. He likely will have an up and down season as you take a guy that was a very good system quarterback that might have the skills. He might. I'm not saying he doesn't. But he's not going to, explode right away. I think he's a quarterback that comes with skill set, but doesn't necessarily have the proof yet in the pudding. So if he can, I think, be one of those quarterbacks that develops well as a rookie, then you have something. But you might be able to win now with Sam Darnold. It was a grave mistake. It was a really dumb mistake.
Is there any truth? And this was on the McAfee show. Is there any truth that Rodgers and Adams said, no, we're a package deal, we come together, like in free agency wise? Like
who said that? Who said that on the McAfee show?
he said it came out on a report. What was this guy named? Todd? That they didn't even talk to Aaron about it. He said they're trying to get in contact with him. They can't contact him.
I don't think they're a package deal only. As I said last night, if you climb in the psyche of Adams, and this is me guessing, I have no inside information on this. I imagine that Adams is probably no longer wanting to play this I go where you go game. He did it with Derek Carr, didn't work out well. Did it with Aaron Rodgers, didn't work out well. This is his last chance, man. If he goes, let's say he went to the Raiders with Aaron Rodgers and said, F it, I'll go back. And Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, he's in a nightmare for himself to be back there without a quarterback again. I think he's going to go to Denver, Baltimore, Buffalo, San Francisco. Kansas City's possible, but I don't know that they're a locked and loaded, package. No, I don't think so. But I do think there's a chance that if Aaron Rodgers goes somewhere that he loves, yeah, he might go. The Steelers could be a situation where I've said that in the offseason, for a while now, that makes a lot of sense. Aaron Rodgers and Adams in Pittsburgh in a very contained offense and a contained system, and this is like a almost guarantee to go to the playoffs for one last hurrah. I mean, it's almost like an autopilot to the playoffs, and then what can Aaron Rodgers prove? And I don't think he'll be very successful in the playoffs, but for him, that's a great system setup for him. But yeah, it does sound like, we heard Titans getting kicked around. If Adams goes to the Titans with Aaron Rodgers, I got to question Adams' intelligence. I got to question Aaron Rodgers' intelligence. All right, Bruce.
I heard the thing of staying in New York and just going to the Giants, both of them. And I was like, no.
I mean, anything can happen, but I don't think that they're a package deal. I don't believe anything that I'm hearing on that. I think that there's a possibility that they go to the same place, but I don't think Adams would be like, I'm going wherever you go. I don't think he's going to – I don't think it's that simple. All right, Bruce, hold on. Mute yourself. Let me go over to Travis. Travis, you're live.
Hey, I kind of agree where, I think Adams is foolish to lock himself into Rodgers. If it's a good spot, it's a good spot, but it just seems crazy that he locked himself into that. As for the, I don't know if you mentioned anything about James Cook at the beginning of the show. I missed a little bit. Do you think this helps or hurts his cause, or just doesn't do anything because it's Barkley? If he's kind of an outlier. Running back contracts.
Do I think it helps what, though? In regards to what part of...
Well, James Cook wants $15 million. Do you think it's going to bring the whole market up?
It does.
Or do you think it just
it does.
Outlier because it's Barkley?
No, how much can it affect it? Think of the Deshaun Watson contract when that came down and he got $230 million guaranteed. No one wanted to play that game. None of the GMs wanted, but it did affect it. Even if they tried to push that idea back down the hatch, no matter what, even if teams are like, yeah, we're not doing that, it doesn't matter. It still affects it because now James Cook is his expectation. Everybody's going, holy shit, this guy's doing it for us. And so every running back together is going to take one step forward, arms locked, and, probably does, impact the market a little bit. The question will be how much will a team like the Buffalo Bills say, nope. And if no one else is able to take a big leap from it, it's kind of think of it like the stock market. If you buy Apple stock at $100 or at $950, and then the market closes and you were the last person to buy it, the stock price is the price that the last person bought it as or traded it as. So if that's the way this works too, is if James Cook goes out there and signs a $8 million a year deal, guess what? Now Barkley's work kind of gets undercut, and then now James Cook resets the market again, to a degree. So the same thing with wide receivers. If, let's say, Higgins goes and signs $34 million a year, which I don't know that the Bengals would sign Higgins first. They could try and play a game and it backfire on them. But if they sign Higgins to $34 million a year, then you're gonna have Jamar Chase no matter what say I'm getting 40 or more. There's no way you're paying Higgins 34 and they expect to pay 35 or 36 to Jamar Chase. There's going to be a difference in a certain buffer between the two wide receivers. It would make no sense at all. But if, let's say, Higgins signs a $30 million deal, unfortunately, Jamar Chase is not probably getting 40. He's probably getting 37, 38, something like that. So everything influences everything to a degree. It's just, sometimes things can stick and sometimes they can't when something happens. BBQ, real quickly, $20 hauler from BBQ dropping a $20 wad.
Super chat alert.
My boy BBQ, appreciate you. 1 QB, $200 budget, keep 3. Puka, $21. Neighbors, $38. BTJ, $14. Higgins, $25. Rice, $28. JD5, $17. 1 QB makes it more likely to potentially put off the quarterback situation just because it's not a dynasty league, right? Because it's a keeper league, a limited keeper league. So you're not likely to look at JD5 with a little bit more value than in, say, a redraft sense. Even though we love him, that's great value. You're going to be able to get him back. Neighbors, it's a lot of money to pay 38, but it's worth every penny. Puka, it's a lot of money, but it's worth every penny. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you get too caught up on like, oh, well, this guy's a discount. Like you gotta pay for value sometimes. So for me, it's pretty easy. You said 3-person keeper. It's Puka, it's Neighbors, it's BT. You lock all 3 of those first round wide receivers up, bro. You've got 3 first rounders there. JD5 is a 3rd rounder, so it doesn't matter how good his value is. You can get him back. So those 3 wide receivers, there's not even a hesitation in my mind. Appreciate you for the super chat.
Especially because of the
great team,
the trade value on top of it. If you decide you have to go in a different direction or something, all those guys are going to have a weak value through the season.
Great team. All right, what else you guys got, Bruce and Travis?
With this Barkley news, how much do you think it affects the free agency wise? Not like people that are, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, but the problem is, if anything, you could look at it 2 ways. If you're, let's say, the Raiders and you're interested in Najee, you're interested in JK, you're interested in Dowdle, right? And you see Barkley become the highest paid running back in NFL history. He's getting $20 million a year. And now Najee Harris is like, my 8 to 10 goes to it. I want 10 to 12. Guess what I'm doing? No, that's right. See you later. and I'm not even trying to play like coy or trying to negotiate like at a car dealership, walk away from the table to come back. I'm kind of just like, I'm good. And then I go straight to the rookie draft. That's where I say like it can influence it, but at the same time, I think the problem is you only have holdout running backs that are going to have, I think, any sort of way to capitalize off of this Barkley contract. It's going to be James Cook. It's going to be other RBs, Kyron, that are going to be able to maybe get some bigger money in extensions. I don't think it has anything to do with this very weak running back free agency pool. I just don't. I think these guys are nothing compared to Kyron and Kyron's, up for potential extension. They very much have talked about it. They want it. That'll squash any sort of quorum, thoughts that people still have. Like why Kyron's in the 3rd round ADP wise is beyond me. I really don't understand it. I don't get how people don't at least give him like the 1-2 round turn, like the 12-13 bookend pick territory value. Like how do you not give him the bookend value at 12-13? How does Kyron not have that kind of pull? He might in more your home leagues where people don't know what time it is and they know he scored a bunch of touchdowns, but in best ball, his ADP on Underdog is in the middle of the 3rd round. Underdog promo code Smitty. Hit this link right here if you want to draft with us tonight on Underdog. We will jump straight into a draft tonight as we have some sort of discussion about something. So hit the link. They'll match your first deposit. What would you say, Bruce?
I have a question about that, Smitty. If, you're at the end of 12-13 turn and you kind of know, hey, Kyron ain't going to fall to me going back in the 3rd round, is it too early to draft him then at like the 12-13 turn and just say, I'll just go gamble early?
I mean, you play that game too much and you're just you're not drafting smart. Like if it's ADP's in the 3rd round and you're taking them 12 or 13, like you're playing in a non-best ball draft though, depending on like if you're drafting on, let's say Yahoo or ESPN or Sleeper or whatever, and the suggested rank has him at like 14 or 15 overall, sure, I'm fine with that. I am. I have a league where running backs they go so quick that he probably will be more of a 13, 14, 15 overall pick. So it kind of depends on where you're drafting. If you're in a best ball draft, absolutely not. Because you're playing $3, $5, $25. Just go do another draft, and get Kyren in that draft. Use ADP to your advantage. But if you're in, let's say, 2 home leagues they're the only leagues that matter to you. There's a $100 entry. They're in person, or even if they're not in person, they're just your favorite buddy league or your work league. And you're sitting there at 12, 13, or you're at 11, 14, and Kyren's got 15 overall value on that platform, then sure. But just don't extend yourself beyond ADP, because if you keep playing that game, you're going to have a team that at the end of the day, you walk out of your draft and you don't like because you reached like crazy on everything. Or if you do make one reach, make it your only reach.
One of those teams that looks like you're missing a round that we always talk about, we're going over.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks like you didn't take someone in the 2nd round because you jumped to ADP so much.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Gump, you're live again. What can I do for you?
All right. This is free. This is a straight up fantasy football question.
Thank God.
What 5 players are going to be the bounce back fantasy football players this year, including Debo? I believe Debo is going to be one of them. Are you gonna hold on? You asked me to give you 5, and then you told me which one. You told me one that I have to have included. Do you want my 5 or do you want my 4 with your? I want your 4. I want your 5. Okay. I need 5 good ones. Gold Jim. 5. No, I'm gonna give you 5 bad ones, Gumpy. Okay, let's see here. 5 bounce back players for Gump. I'm gonna say Debo is one of them, whether you like it or not. Okay. Debo is one of them. Yay!
I'm going to say, from a quarterback perspective, I think Dak Prescott is a great one if you need a quarterback. That's a good one. I think if we go on over to I might not even stop at 5, Gumpy. I go into the running back category, and I'm looking for anybody that wants to know how I refresh my mind, or I go to thefantasyfootballshow.com and I look at my year-round rankings. They're not updated once in a while. They're updated year-round, 365. They have all the rookies included. We got BBQ dropping 20 gifted memberships. BBQ to the mother freaking too much. BBQ, appreciate you. Okay, so I'm looking at my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, and I'm trying to find some RBs that tickle my fancy in this topic here. No, I'm done with the quarter. Gumpy, let me talk. Okay, I'm going to say running backs. Man, I mean, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet together is interesting, but I don't even know if I would throw that out. I would say Tank Bigsby, ETN. They're kind of combos at the running back position because of the coaching staff, because of the systems, because of the intent. Ramondre is a good bounce back running back. Those would probably be the RBs. I don't love Pacheco that much, to be honest with you. Those would be the guys I'd throw out at RB. Interesting that there are only that many bounce back running backs, honestly, scanning through. Breece Hall, if you consider... Yeah, you know what? Breece Hall, number 1. Because Breece Hall did have a very disappointing year at some total. So Breece Hall, number 1 overall bounce back. Number 1. Past that, it's kind of wild that the RB position doesn't really hold a lot of these guys that qualify. But I'd say ETN and Bigsby. I'd say Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet. And I kind of lean toward the second player of those cuffs. If I'm crafty, I might just draft Bigsby. If I'm crafty, I might just draft Charbonnet because they're going to go so late. Now, ETN and Bigsby both go late together, so I usually grab them together. As far as wide receiver bounce backs, I'd probably say CeeDee Lamb and Breece Hall are the 2 biggest names of the guys I've listed so far. CeeDee Lamb has a huge bounce back season, but he still had a good year, so he might not qualify. Let's go with Garrett Wilson having a nice little bounce back season. Let's go with DK Metcalf having a nice little bounce back season. Rashee Rice coming off injury, if you want to consider that a nice little bounce back season. And then probably, we'll say, a little bit of Tyreek Hill, Godwin coming off the injury, Debo Samuel, Do it live. There you go, pal. And then Sam Laporta at tight end. Those are my bounce back players. Thank you, Gump.
How about little Baker?
All right, last one. Bounce back. He had a great Gump. Get out of here, Gump. Gump. He had a great year. He had the biggest bounce back year a man could possibly.
4,500 yards.
Finish him.
40 touchdowns.
Call terminated.
Baker. What about Baker bouncing back? Baker's the definition of probably the biggest. Him and Sam Darnold, the biggest bounce back. What are we doing? What are we doing? All right, Bruce. Final thoughts, Bruce. I might end it here soon, so I'm gonna turn the phone line off here. So I'm gonna exit you guys one after the other, and then we'll come back tonight. But go ahead, Bruce. Final thoughts. Thank you.
My thought is just, hey, it's crazy what they're doing with the contracts and how they're going to start working now, and getting ready for a big free agency with all the available players.
Yeah. Rico, I wish you were in the negotiating room so you could make sure this gets done. Because, Rico, without you, they can't negotiate this deal. Cincy should give Higgins $15 to $20 million guaranteed. That'll really get him in the door.
All right. I'll see you later.
Okay, Bruce. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Bruce or Rico, that's not even scratching this.
50% discount.
It's not even scratching the surface. AR5, Thomas. I'm hopeful, but I'm not on the train. I jumped off. I'm rooting for him, but I'm not on the train. I completely leaped off the train. T. Higgins is getting no less than $33 million, or he's going to play on the tag, but no less than $33 million. But he's going to ask for 35. He's coming for 35. Jamar Chase is coming for $40 million. He's not selling for 37, 36, 35. He wasn't even wanting 35. He wanted like 35.5 to 36 million last year. So you think Jamar Chase, after a triple crown season, isn't coming for 38, 39, 40? He's going to ask for 40. The question is, will he wiggle down to 30, 38? I don't think Jamar Chase signs anything less than $38 million a year. I can't envision it. And I don't think T. Higgins takes anything less than 30. Could he? Is there a world where he takes 30 and I'm like shocked? Yeah, but I think it's 33, 34. I think he asked for 35.
I think he really want to have to stay. Like, if Burrow, Chase, and Higgins got together and we're like, all right, we'll take a little less each, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, like 38 and 33. Like, if Chase gets 40, then Higgins wants 35. Like I said, they influence each other. It's like a spider web, and it just pulls the other up a little bit. All right, Justin, 30 seconds, and then I got to go. You're live.
Hey, so I said this about Sam Darnold last year. I think Zach Moss is worth like last round consideration. He's in the basement. He's like 230. Like, all he needs to do is get mixed in a little bit. You get a couple of touchdowns. Amazing last round pick. Appreciate you. Have a
all right,
good night.
later, bro. Not sure I agree on that one, but I don't know.
Moss is cooked.
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest with you, I forgot he was in the league. Rock out. Final thoughts.
This is Jake from State Farm.
What?
Nothing, but what would you give up to get Debo in a dynasty? Like, what type of pick?
I'm a little wild on this one, bro. I love going and getting. I'm actually gonna do a dynasty video on this. Going and getting Debo. I feel like I would pay a second round.
Good guy.
If I could win, I would pay a second round pick. I don't care. I don't care. You're not gonna get him for a third or a fourth. Everyone's just gonna hold on to him. But like, if I could win, I'm gonna do what are the best players to go get using a second round pick video, or we'll do a video on that on the Dynasty channel. But Debo's right up there, bro. Jalen McMillan's up there too, because you have this team looking to bring back Godwin, so the Jalen McMillan balloon got deflated a little bit, and so people are a little bit pissed about that. They're like, damn it, man. And that might not happen. It might happen. It might not. So like the upside of getting him, if let's say Godwin does end up going somewhere, but even if Godwin comes back, these are older. Evans is older. Godwin's not a spring chicken. The injury risk with Godwin's still there. The injury risk with Evans is there, and he's getting older. So McMillan could be the number one wide receiver there for like 8 straight games this year or something crazy. So Debo and McMillan are really good players to go get. Debo especially in Dynasty. And second rounder, I could care less about a second rounder when it comes down to getting a player that could impact and win for me. But if you're not in win now mode, then no. But all right, calling tonight, Bruce. Appreciate you. Or I'm sorry, Rock Out. I don't know why.
All right.
Rock Out, sometimes I mix you and Bruce up. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why. It's not like you guys even act the same or.
I need a new name.
No. I think you guys. I think of you as you're you kind of been with me the same amount of time. You're both unique characters on the show, but like I sometimes even when Bruce is on the phone, I'll call him Rock Out, and I don't know what it is. All right, later, bro.
Even call Ron Rock Out.
Yeah, sometimes. All right, later, Rock Out. Travis, final thoughts.
Do you think some of these free agent running backs are going to have to wait till after the draft? Do you think some of them, they'll all get signed before?
Some of them might, but I think some of them
wait.
I think they take a lot of these hometown discounts before the draft so they can get their money. I think they start realizing what time it is. They're like, damn it, man. I thought I was going to be a star. Yeah, just kind of go back. Like Aaron Jones, that'll get settled before the draft. And these teams need to know. Like, they're probably going to say Aaron Jones. The Vikings will say, look, we're going to draft somebody if we don't have you, so you better sign this deal, and then he signs it. Rico Dowdle, you better come back before the draft, or we're taking a running back. And so Rico comes back at a cheap discount. But, yeah, I think these teams will be stupid. Yeah. Like, not that Rico Dowdle wasn't good. I'm not saying that, but he ain't no Genty, Scadaboo, Hampton. Dallas, Hampton and Dallas would be amazing. Scadaboo in Dallas or LV or Cleveland would be amazing. Well, really, all those spots. Hampton would be amazing, and Scadaboo would be amazing, and Judkins would be great, and Henderson would be phenomenal, and they're all the same spots. They're every one of those RBs can translate in those locations. But for some reason, I feel like Hampton. I feel like Hampton going to. Let's see here. Whoops. Hampton to. Let's see here. Hampton to.
I think he'll go to a team he's going to start right away.
Yeah, Cleveland makes. Cleveland makes a lot of sense to me. Nice. LV makes a ton of sense.
I wonder if the Giants could possibly draft one of these guys. I know they have Tracy, but
they could.
I'm not sold on Tracy.
Hey, Tracy fumbled away. Yeah, Tracy fumbled away his kung fu grip at least. I'm not saying he fumbled away the job necessarily, but he fumbled away his kung fu grip on it. Yeah. I think Hampton could be. I just wonder if one of these top 3 backs or whatever go in a horrible spot. Like, that happens, man. We'll have to see. Somebody's going to get kicked in the sack, value-wise. All right, Travis, I'll see you tonight. Oh, go ahead real quick.
Oh, no, I was just going to say one of them's going to end up – one of the top 3 or 4 backs I'm pretty sure will end up in Chicago because of that 39 and 41 pick they have, unless Chicago does something to make the trade. But maybe that won't be so bad.
Yeah, Ben Johnson's
Swift in another back will be like Monty Gibbs.
Ben Johnson's for sure drafting an RB. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right, later, bro.
Right. Later, Smitty.
Wouldn't be surprised if Ben Johnson went like the way of like Najee and drafted a running back. Wanted his Monty and Gibbs situation. All right, I'll see you all later. Thank you again for the super chats. Russian Collusion, the $20 hauler. Let's see here. You take Kyron at 12 and 13. Don't lose him. It depends on like in an underdog draft, no. Or in a draft where the platform shows him as a third rounder, I'd say no. But if it's a home league and he's ranked in the top 15 overall, then yeah, I agree. It depends though. Thank you, BBQ, for the gifted memberships. If you guys got a gifted membership from BBQ, please thank them. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you all 5 of you that dropped super chats. Russian, Collusion, BBQ, both you dropping 20 wads. Russian with another additional, Judy with the $5, Justin Rush with the $2. Appreciate you all. See you tonight on the Graveyard Show. I am out of here.